Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a video talking about new December releases in mystery novels specifically. We have a lot of cozy mysteries, we have some like historical fiction, kind of classic inspired mystery novels, so I'm really excited. So let's just go ahead and jump right into the first one, which I'm excited. I think this is a really cool premise. So our first one is called Observations by Gaslight. So this book is by Lindsay Faye and it's going to be coming out December 7th. This is part of a series that she's been doing. She's had two prior releases where she's made like new Sherlock Holmes stories, but this is the third one. You don't have to read them in order. You can pick any up at any time as long as you're someone who likes Sherlock Holmes stories. This one in particular is a volume that has a bunch of short stories in it, and I like the premise because each of the short stories is told from the perspective of different characters within the Sherlock Holmes world. So one of them, for example, is like Irene Adler and Sherlock Holmes teaming up, and I'm assuming it's probably told from Irene Adler's point of view. So I'm really excited. I think this sounds like a really cool read. There's other familiar faces like the landlady Miss Hudson and minor characters like Lomax, the sub-librarian. So this looks like a really cool book. I think the cover is stunning and it's really intrigued me to check out some of her previous books now because I haven't heard of this before. So if you are someone who likes Sherlock Holmes or that kind of world, this is going to be a really great pick for you. So this next book comes out December 28th, and this is the newest installment in the Bakeshop mystery series by Ellie Alexander, who does have a YouTube channel. I'll link it down below in the description below. I really enjoy her channel. She has a super delightful, personable personality that's just a delight to watch. I love her. I think she's really entertaining to watch. And I actually just started reading the very first one in this series, and I'm really enjoying it so far. The writing really sucks you in and the characters are just so developed so far that I'm definitely going to be continuing the series. So the new one that's coming out is book 14 in the Bakeshop series, and it's called Bake, Borrow, and Steal. So the main character is Jules and she works in a bake shop, her family's bake shop, and her family has been invited to make these like centerpieces for a Shakespeare festival. Fun little fact about the town they're living in, I believe it's called Ashland, Oregon. They have like a bunch of Shakespeare festivals, like it's a major tourist attraction, so a lot of the books involve Shakespeare like festivals and artists and stuff like that, which I think is a lot of fun, really fun. So Jules and her bake shop are creating these centerpieces for the Shakespeare event because they found some of Shakespeare's lost pages, and they're like, it's a big unveiling event of these lost pages because of course, you know, if we found new Shakespeare's work, that would be like huge world news, right? And Jules is super stressed out. I mean, this is a huge event for her bake shop, huge amount of work to put into it. She's very frazzled, but her team pulls behind her. But right before the event, the manuscript goes missing. So that is the start of the mystery. I am like almost wanting to just jump to this book, but I am going to read it in order since I'm on book 1 right now. But if you've read the rest of her series, let me know because so far I've like heard great things about it. I love the author herself. She seems really cool and I'm really enjoying the first one. So let me know what you think about that. And again, that's coming out on the 28th of December. Okay, so the next one is another release on December 7th. Apparently that's a popular day for releases this month. And it's part of the Fixer Upper Mystery series by Kate Carlisle. And it's called Absence of Mallets. And this is book 9 of the Fixer Upper series, and essentially the book starts where the protagonist Shannon has moved in with her boyfriend, and on her boyfriend's property is a lighthouse. Well, during the story, somehow they find a body near the lighthouse, which is what sets off the mystery, and Shannon is back on it again, looking to find out who done it, what happened, and to also probably clear some suspicion around maybe her boyfriend and herself since they lived on the property. I imagine there's probably a little bit of heat on them, like what happened? Why is this person on your property, dead? So I'm really interested. I have not read anything by Kate Carlisle or the Fixer Upper Mysteries, so if you have and you think it's great, let me know in the comments below. Because this next one is a historical fiction cozy mystery, which is always a sweet spot of mine. I love anything historical fiction and then mystery. Right, it's like just combining two of my favorite genres right there. And this is called City of Shadows, and this is part of the Counterfeit Lady mystery series. This is book 5, and they are written by Victoria Thomas. Victoria Thompson. So in this one, the main character Elizabeth has just returned home from her honeymoon, and they're just, going about their business, settling back in from their honeymoon. However, her friend Anna approaches her and she's very concerned about her mother, who recently lost her husband. And apparently her mother has been seeing a psychic who's been like connecting her to the father and like allowing them to talk somehow through this like psychic connection, but the daughter Anna is concerned that her mother is being played, and her mother is so convinced that the psychic is legitimate that she's sinking like all of the family's money into it, and their finances are actually starting to suffer because of how much money she's putting into the psychic work. So Elizabeth is on the case and she's trying to figure out, is this a counterfeit psychic? What's going on? Is there an ulterior motive? And this just sounds really delightful. And apparently Elizabeth also recruits her aunt to help her hunt down if this is like a counterfeit gang behind the medium, which is what she suspects. So I really like the premise. It sounds like, based on the title of the series, A Counterfeit Lady, that instead of all like murder mysteries, the series focuses a lot on like fraud and counterfeit, which I'm really interested in. So I think this sounds really cool. I actually added the first one in this series to my TBR because I was like, ooh, that sounds good. I'm intrigued. And this is again released on December 7th, so I don't know what it is particularly about that date, but apparently we have one more release on that date. Okay, so the next one is a release by Paige Shelton, and it is called The Dark Knight, a Mystery, and this is part of the Alaska Wild series. It's book 3 in the series, and it's also going to be released on December 7th. So I know this is a really popular series on BookTube. I've seen a lot of people talk about the Alaska Wild series. I have not personally read it, although I definitely have it on my TBR list. But I have read Paige Shelton's Scottish bookshop mystery, The Stolen Letter. I've read everything up to date in this series, and it's just fantastic. The writing is beautiful. She does some amazing research in this to really flesh out Scotland for you. I really enjoy it, so I can only imagine that this series is just as excellent. So there's a lot of elements going on in this. It's just featured in a small town called Benedict, Alaska, and the main character Beth is dealing with a lot of different things kind of happening. There's a census man who's not really welcomed into the town because they're very like a small private town. They don't really want people sticking their nose in their business. There is a battered woman who appears in the town, and the next morning her husband is actually found dead, which is kind of what the main primary mystery is within this book. So I'm personally really intrigued. I have the first one in this series on my to-read list, but let me know if you've read any of this. I know it's a really popular series. So again, that's going to be released on Tuesday, December 7th, so definitely put that on your list if it sounds interesting. Oh, and as always, I will have everything listed down below in the description for you if you are looking to. Okay, so this next one is going to really be a crowd pleaser for a lot of people, because I know Jane Austen is a very popular classic writer, and especially on BookTube, I feel like a lot of people are really into Jane Austen, and this one is called Jane Austen's Lost Letters, and it's a Josie Prescott antiques mystery. This is book 14 in the series, and it does come out on December 14th. And apparently Josie Prescott, she has a antiques show and like antique shop, and someone appears on her doorstep interrupting her show, and they have a box for her. When the woman leaves, she looks inside the box and she is shocked to find these letters that she thinks may be written by Jane Austen. And I think she is convinced that her father might have hunted these down, I guess, before his death. And so now she's on this trail trying to figure out, are these authentic? Where did they come from? And as she's going after the secret, she finds out that someone doesn't want the secret to come out, and they're even willing to kill for it. So I think that sounds like a super interesting book. I think the cover is really cute. I really like it. I'm very excited by this. The author is named Jane K. Cleland. And again, this is part of the Josie Prescott Antiques mystery. It is book 14, so if you haven't read any of the previous ones, you would be jumping in to the middle of the mystery, but a lot of cozy mysteries you can pretty easily jump into any part of the series. So if it interests you, go ahead and check it out. Oh, so this next one is a new series. So if you are looking to start with a brand new series, never before read, no books before this is a good one for you. This is called A Plus One for Murder, and the new series is called A Friend for Hire Mystery. It's written by Laura Bradford, and it's going to be released again on December 7th. A lot of releases on that date that apparently I somehow ended up picking all at once for this. So the main character is named Emma Westlake, and she has been like an entrepreneur her whole life, like from lemonade stands as a child to multiple types of businesses, and recently she went into travel planning. However, with the internet on the rise, a lot of people have been booking travel for themselves, so she finds her business slowly declining. But an elderly friend in her life suggests, hey, you would make a really good companion, and I could like get you into this like nursing home facility where you might actually like people would hire you for your services. And she's hired by this writer named Brian Hill to be his companion and to be cheering him on at this open mic night. And before the open mic night, Brian is joking with her saying, oh, you know, a lot of the people who are going to show up at this, they're definitely going to want me dead by the end of this. Like he's going to be, I don't know, maybe letting loose some secrets or sharing something that is going to make people feel a little bit heated. And she thinks he's joking. However, he gets up on there for open mic night and he just drops dead, just like that. So then she goes on a hunt to figure out what happened here, what is going on, and if this is something that interests you, the second book is already scheduled on Amazon to be coming out next year, so you can definitely hop into this, get started on the mystery, and know that there's another one coming down the pipeline already. So again, that is by Laura Bradford, totally new series of Friends for Hire mystery, and it's coming out on the 7th. Alright, so the next one is going to be great for you guys who love a supernatural mystery. This is called Witch Trial. It's part of the Full Moon mystery series, and it's only book 2, so if you are someone who really likes to read from the beginning, you won't be very far behind. You could pick up the first one and then get into this. And this one is going to be released on December 28th, so you'd have plenty of time to get the first book and start reading that one if you wanted to read that first. This one's written by Kate Conte, and the story takes place with the protagonist named Violet Mooney, and she has a crystal shop in North Harbor, Connecticut, and in the shop she sells crystals, gives people different advice, and she apparently is a descendant from 2 really strong magical families in the area, which sounds really intriguing. Well, throughout this, she's apparently accused by a reporter who says that she genied him into a bottle, and Violet can't exactly clear her name, so this is something that's kind of a point of, you know, fear. Like she's like, am I going to get in trouble? Am I going to be discovered for this? What's going to happen? And then at the same time, one of her dear customers ends up passing away under suspicious circumstances. So along with her cat, who is her familiar, Violet has to go clear her name and also figure out what happened to one of her customers throughout the story. So again, I think this would be perfect for you if you are someone who loves a supernatural or witchy mystery. So our next book also comes out on December 7th, and it is called Murder in the Drawing Room. It is a Cleopatra Fox mystery series, and this is book 3 within the series. It's written by CJ Archer. Love the book. I think the book series like cover here is just really cool, really interesting, kind of has a classic vibe to it, so I'm already intrigued. And apparently Cleo is kind of known for her sleuthing talents, and a local politician named Harry talks to her about his wife potentially having an affair on him. So while Cleo's beginning the investigation on that, his wife ends up just dying under mysterious circumstances, which of course raises some flags. Was it the person, or the politician himself, that did something to her? Was it her lover? Was it, you know, who knows who did it? So Cleo is on the case for that. However, she's also receiving backlash from some members of her family who aren't really pleased with her snooping around, which would be difficult. And of course, I feel like as a family member, if I had a family member who was snooping around in dangerous circumstances, understandably, I'd be a bit concerned too if they weren't, you know, like a trained cop or detective or something like that. But Cleo continues anyways. She's on a track to figure out what happened to this politician's wife. Oh, I'm sorry, correction. Harry is actually part of the detective force. He's not the politician, but he passes on this investigation to Cleo to help him out discovering about the politician's wife and what happened to him. Correction there. Unfortunately, when Cleo and Harry, the investigator, are on the trail of who killed the politician's wife, the police end up arresting someone and saying that this is the killer. However, Cleo and Harry strongly suspect that they're incorrect, but the police refuse to look elsewhere or consider other like alternatives to the person they're set on as the murderer. So Cleo and Harry have their work cut out with them. They're having to disprove what the police think. They're having to hunt down other motives. Cleo's getting backlash from her family, so this just sounds like a multitude of messes, and I'm all for it. It sounds really interesting. And this is also part of the historical mystery genre. So again, if you are someone like myself who likes a historical fiction mystery, this will be right up your alley. Okay guys, we have 2 more, so hang in there with me. I do apologize if my voice is going a little gravelly. I've been talking for quite a bit, but we'll get there. The next one is called Jane Darrowfield and the Madwoman Next Door, which, what a great title. I mean, if that doesn't grab your attention, I don't know what will. And this is part of the Jane Darrowfield mystery series. This is book 2, so again, if you are someone who wants to start from the beginning, this is one where you could quickly catch up to the current book that's being released. And this is coming out on December 28th. The series is written by Barbara Ross and follows the antics of Jane Darrowfield, who is a retiree who has a little bit of a nosy busybodiness about her, but she ends up stumbling on different murders, mysteries throughout her community, and uses her busybody skills and amateur sleuthing skills to go after and figure out who did it. And this story follows Jane's neighbor, Megan, who recently moved in to the house next to Jane's, thus the Madwoman Next Door, and Megan has been experiencing some interesting symptoms. She's hearing things, she's extremely paranoid, and Jane isn't really sure at first if perhaps she has like a medical condition, or is she actually like in danger? Is there a reason that she's really truly paranoid? And she's kind of perplexed by it because her neighbor has a very strong security system in place. I mean, she's got, you know, her house is decked out with security, so she's like, well, what could possibly happen to this lady? Like, but then her neighbor goes missing. And so Jane is on the case figuring out where Megan is, what happened to her, and trying to find her basically. And that is that story, again by Barbara Ross, coming out on the 28th of December. And our last book is called Renewed for Murder, and it's from the Blue Ridge Library Mystery Series. It is book 6 in the series, and the series is written by Victoria Gilbert. So the protagonist's name is Amy, and she was recently married to Richard, who is a dancer, and him and his dance partner Carla are working on their newest choreography for like a folk music inspired choreography. And so Amy is doing different research on folk music to help her husband and her husband's partner make a more like authentic, well-rounded choreo, and a woman in their town named Zelda Shoemaker ends up having a dead body in her backyard. And the police are immediately on Zelda. They're, you know, really interrogating her, suspecting her. She's on their #1 like suspect list, which of course if you find someone in your backyard, I mean, of course you're going to be a suspect, but Amy knows Zelda didn't do it, and so she goes on a hunt to research about this woman, what happened to her, what are the motives for her death, and just goes about trying to solve this mystery. However, among her research, because Amy is a librarian, so of course she's going to be an intensive researcher, she does find some interesting bits about Zelda's past that kind of make her doubt could it possibly actually have been Zelda. Like there's just a little bit of questionable evidence in her past, but of course she continues on her trail until she eventually finds the murderer. So that is the last book in this December cozy mystery and mystery novel wrap up. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know down below, what new December books are you really excited for? Did I miss any? Have you read any of the series for these? Would you strongly recommend any? And again, I don't think I said it, but my name is Amy Marie. If you are new to my channel, welcome. I am a mystery channel, so I focus intensely on mystery novels, especially within the more cozy genres, but also classics, historical fiction mysteries. Basically, if you love mysteries, this is a great channel for you, so definitely hit subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!